besides that, really quickly, because we'll try to just limit this to one because there's so many bangers on this fight card next week. Can you think of one fight where you think of a sneaky underdog on next week's card?
I have been looking at the fight matchups, but not at the odds. So let me go take a peek at the odds here and see where I could find a sneaky underdog play that I am liking.
Let me just throw one at you just to see
Absolutely.
what I mean. I got I'll always do this, and this is even just for content's sake, but I gotta go with fading the Sugar Show. I feel like we saw with Paiva against Kyler Phillips. This dude is super tough. He's got a cinder block for a head. He's really, really tough. And I feel like if this fight goes to decision, we're kind of playing that game where there's a chance where as long as he wins one clear round, you're giving up, you're getting almost plus 300 odds right now on Paiva. I see it plus 270. I would not be shocked if it gets to plus 300 by fight time. All you need is one clear round and then a judge to have a prevailing scorecard to win a fight like that. And O'Malley has had, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but he's had subpar opponents, and I feel like this is one of those setup fights where Raulian Paiva is coming off a win against Kyler Phillips. This is not a step down. This is a huge step up as far as cans go, and Paiva is not a can. And if he comes out and tries to do the tit for tat game like he did against Montinho, it's not going to work. And I'm not saying that Paiva is going to come out here and start Sean O'Malley, but I feel like there's a case to be made for betting him at like plus 300 if based on the assumption that this fight goes to the decision. And it's the same type of thing. Watch what happened with Phillips and Paiva. It was this, and I had Paiva in that one too, and it's the same type of thing. He's just going to goad you into just a brawl. And I don't know if O'Malley is I don't know. I haven't seen personally enough from Sean O'Malley to say that he should be like a -3 something favored against the type of fighter that I've saw Raulian Paiva, at least in that fight against Kyler Phillips. What's your take on that?
I couldn't agree with you more, honestly. So I did bet Raulian Paiva at, I want to say plus 240 against Kyler Phillips. Very small bet for me, but I thought it was value. And I also had a prop bet as well on Paiva by decision in that fight. So that was a nice cash for me. And obviously, if I bet it last time, I think it makes a lot of sense to bet again. I believe I might be speaking out of turn here. I think O'Malley and Phillips are teammates as well.
Or they
together.
used to be, yeah.
Yeah, but it's same kind of scene out in Arizona. I agree with you, that point about Moutinho. Granted, it was a fight on short notice. Don't want to ding O'Malley too bad for that. Do think that he has, very plus level striking statistics. That's something that jumps off the page at me on the Sean O'Malley side. However, I do think Paiva is the kind of guy who's hard to nuke. He's got good recoverability. He's shown that he can come back and win rounds after being, basically 10-8'd and killed in the first round. And so I think Paiva's a soldier. He's been on the wrong end of split decisions before as well. But I do think overall, when you look at the value side, it's very hard for Sean O'Malley, who's a primary striker, to justify that -320 price tag, especially against, Raulian Paiva, who may try to look, for a takedown or two, not to say that's, his go-to, but if he gets stung, would I be stunned? No. Sean, it benefits him to be a little noodly in the striking, but it might be a little bit of a detriment in the grappling exchanges. So obviously he's been working on that, going to jiu-jitsu tournaments, that kind of thing. But I think Sean O'Malley could get exposed a little bit in the grappling department if Raulian Paiva decides to take the fight that direction. So who knows, man? I do think Sean O'Malley's good, but he's going to get, a ton of public love here. This is going to be a pretty well viewed fight card, you would think. Probably decent betting volume as well. In terms of betting volume outside the main event, it's like, guys, this is obviously going to be one of the most bet fights on the card. On the side of the favorite, on the side of O'Malley inside the distance, on the side of O'Malley by knockout. So for that reason, fading the narrative is probably just a profitable plus EV play here, which is why I will try and do it. And then win, lose, or draw, I could feel good about it. If Paiva does get nuked, it's a plus 270 ticket. Whereas if Sean, fades down the stretch like he was starting to against Moutinho, who really wasn't throwing much back, was just presenting himself as a punching bag all night, with all due respect. So I think that Paiva's going to throw back, and he's not going to be afraid of the name. So I kind of like that shout from you.
Because everybody talks about, for some reason, that Chris Moutinho, he gets a lot of love, I guess for the hair or whatever, coming in on short notice. But it was the fight for me with Sean O'Malley that was against Thomas Almeida that made me be like, okay, there's something up with this guy. Because even against Almeida, who is like 5'7", and Sean O'Malley is 5, he listed at 5'11", but he's probably closer to 6 foot. And Almeida was landing at some times, hurting Sean O'Malley. And you look at both of those fights, O'Malley finished both of them, but you look at the times, 3 minutes, 52 seconds late in the third round against Almeida, 4 minutes and 33 seconds late into the third round against Moutinho. That is not going to happen against Raulian Paiva. If it gets into those later phases of the fight, O'Malley's going to be so gassed from trying to finish him that's where you get that's where you have it where you could see it that O'Malley's just finished and Paiva ends up on top in top position or something like that, where you see, he might have been winning the early part of the third round, but then he's completely gassed. And because he made a case for himself to win the second round or something like that, all you need is one of those, split 50-50 rounds and a clear round in your way, and you're cashing a plus 300 ticket. And, the thing about it is, just like you said, this is a card that's built for him, and it's a specific matchup built for him. I think it, like you said, it has to do with the relation of his team and Kyler Phillips. They probably, scouted Raulian Paiva the same way that they scouted Almeida and Moutinho. And, he picks his opponents. And I feel like one of these times, similar to what happened with Chito Vera, it's gonna go against him. And I feel like this is I love doing this because I love fading the narrative, and it's good for the bank account when it comes through. But I'm gonna cut this video, and people are gonna lose their minds, and I'm gonna get shit on by trolls for a good week on YouTube. But that's okay, because I do think, and I'm going to bet Raulian Paiva to win that fight. And that, off the top of my head, that's the biggest underdog for me. And before we wrap it up, do you have any last thoughts on that one, on the just next week's card in general?
Absolutely. Well, just to bolster your point a little bit, I don't want to give away too much in terms of, my thought process and everything too early, because I do want to, give a little bit of a deeper look to some of these matchups, give guys full credit and respect. But that being said, Paiva just has a lot of things I would want to see in somebody I'm going to bet against Sean O'Malley. What I mean by that is, I don't think he's going to die on the first exchange. I don't think he's going to be put off by the fact that he's getting hit. We've seen examples of that. And then on top of that, the guy throws more leg kicks than Sean O'Malley does. Sean O'Malley, I'm going to keep saying it because I do think it's true. Sean O'Malley can, have a little bit of fragility in that leg region. I think it's because of his height, his length. I mentioned it in the Rob Font example. I think it's true in all these examples. Moutinho, when he was landing, often wasn't having success finding Sean's chin. He was touching him to the body a little bit. And I think that those are the kind of targets that Paiva will be able to land on here. And I think if he's smart, he'll try and add up that attritional work early and often, because he's probably not going to knock out O'Malley. But if you look at O'Malley's stats, all the things that are beautiful about them, right? He's very accurate. He throws a lot, he lands a lot, doesn't get hit all that much. Okay, all that is true. But the thing that's, also a reality is this guy hits a lot of people and doesn't knock him out. He knocked out the one guy who was well over the hill, who was that? McDonald. But outside
Eddie
of that,
Wineland.
Or Wineland, excuse me. Jeez, they kind of look a little similar.
Yeah.
But I think all things being equal, this is not a great place to bet O'Malley as a massive favorite. That's all I'd say. We've just seen Paiva perform in this odds range, and the market's obviously low on him, but he overperforms expectations. The market is obviously high on Sean O'Malley, and I had an O'Malley ITD ticket last time, and I almost puked. He's fighting a UFC newcomer and puts every shot on him. And I think Moutinho had been finished in regional MMA. So as much as we want to give credit to Moutinho in that spot for being tough and doing all the, hard work of eating the shots, it's concerning that O'Malley can land enough volume to gas himself without finding a finish. I think he's got a 0.8% knockdown rate, and Paiva has like 0.6. So there's no massive gap in power. The difference is we've seen Paiva get rocked and dropped, and we haven't seen it from O'Malley. So everybody's going to think, only one guy could get hurt and dropped here. And I don't think that's true.
The thing about it, like, Paiva might get hurt and dropped, but I don't think he's going to get knocked out cold. And I keep pointing to this. Watch the Thomas Almeida fight, because he was, O'Malley had a significant size advantage against a guy who was coming off eye surgery. He might not even have continued to, you might not see him fight again in the UFC since then. And, O'Malley was not making it look easy against that guy. And if he has that type of performance against Raulian Paiva, who is extremely tough, extremely tough. And like I said, you just need the variance to go on your side. You need a 50-50 round, and you need a clear round, definitive round in your favor, and you're cashing a plus 300 ticket, and it's that easy. And basically that's what I want for a big underdog. And I think it's just perfect, because we're getting that exposure. He has that the hype towards him. There's a lot of people who just follow Sean O'Malley that aren't even big MMA fans. They're just fans of him as a persona. So we're going to get a little bit of love on him, and hopefully we'll get a bit of inflated line. Even if we get more than plus 300, I wouldn't be surprised. But I will look forward to that. And I'll look forward to UFC 269